Update. For more on this, we go to retired Brigadier General Mark Kimmett. General, it's a pleasure to have you on. Your initial reaction to what I think is a very big deal. This is a slippery slope. Once something like this, I feel like, begins to happen, who knows where this could lead to? Who knows where it can stop?
No, I agree. And I think both sides of the fence should be showing a little bit of maturity here. But let's go back to the fundamental issue. We have in the military something called good order and discipline. And when active members of Congress are suggesting that our soldiers need to get a law book out before they follow an order to make sure it's lawful, that's prejudicial to good order and discipline.
Yeah, General, also, it just seems that the Democrats are ignoring the fact that what they have done, it is actually a seditious act, and they then just are immediately spinning this to attack the president. Do you think there's any intent to that? Are they just playing a dangerous political game here?
Well, first of all, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't really define what a seditious act is in general. But I do believe that this is dangerous for members of Congress to be telling our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marine that you have to go to a lawyer before you decide whether or not you're going to follow a lawful order. You can imagine the chaos that comes in the military. It just is against everything a chain of command is for. And I think the underlying insult is somehow that an order from the president that has to go through at least 7 layers of the chain of command, if illegal, would not be protested by somebody in the chain of command. I think they're insulting everybody of every rank, suggesting that they can't trust the military chain of command to distinguish between a lawful and an unlawful order.
In a roundabout way, General, do you think this is some form of an insurrection? Kind of what it looks like.
I don't want to go that far. I mean, look, I know a number of people that have been talking about this. I know Alyssa Slotkin quite well. I think she's a public servant. I think she's had a record in the CIA of good work. But it just amazes me why they think it is necessary to tell this to soldiers. They might as well be telling soldiers, don't drink and drive. This is obvious. You don't follow an illegal order. You don't drink and drive. But they're not getting on and proclaiming that. This is obvious to our soldiers.
And what type of illegal acts do you think they're referencing?
I think they're probably trying to talk about what's happening down in the Caribbean. But if that's the case, they're flat wrong. That is a lawful order that the president has given to those carriers and those ships. There is a requirement after 60 days that the president comes through the War Powers Act and reports to Congress. But somehow suggesting that if that is the case, that they're trying to subvert that chain of command into believing that that's an illegal order, I can only imagine. The thing that bothers me is they seem to have been unsuccessful to get a change in the legislature or Congress. Obviously, the Supreme Court is not upholding them. The president doesn't agree with them. So they go to YouTube to try to litigate this to the American people. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the bizarre power of social media can be dangerous indeed. All right, General, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.